From the shadows of New York's Manhattan skyline to Arizona's Valley of the Sun resides a radio program the world over has been waiting for. Hosted by two men no one has ever heard of. It's a place where idiocracy runs free and rarely a point is made. Kieran.
We're looking up something about something that doesn't exist, and then we're reading a quote that this dude just made up, and we're taking it as fact.
Rocket.
Yahoo Answers, the same place where people ask, I never had sex, can I get pregnant? That's the same place.
Together, these men will bring you laughter at any cost, even if that means sacrificing their own egos or well-being. So put your brains on standby. Sit back and relax. The boys have returned. Lunatic Radio starts now.
Bang, let's start the fucking show, eh?
Radio show. I hate my headphones already, Rock. Oh my god, everything sounds like I'm in a fucking phone booth. The music is low. God. I have to, I'm wearing a fedora today on the show. By the way, welcome to the radio program, Kier Rock. I'm Kier, that's Rock, broadcasting live around the country, which is the United States. I'm in Arizona, Rock's in New York City. Welcome to the program, everybody. Hope you're watching your NFL games. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I'm just, it's just amazing what headphones can do to your audio production.
Oh, yeah.
This is terrible.
Is it terrible? I can't hear it. I don't know. I don't know what's good or what's not.
I just can't believe that how just a set of headphones could just throw things off so much.
Totally does. I'm used to my other headphones. But anyway, welcome to the program. I hope people are listening. I don't even know if you are.
Nah, they are,
I sent the feed out late, so I don't know. The Vikings are playing the Saints right now, and it's like down to the wire. And I don't know what's going on. I kind of want to know what's going on.
Well, I got it. I could give you a little play-by-play. It's 3rd and 10. With 10 seconds left, Keenum just threw an errant pass.
An errant pass.
Yeah. So now they're just checking out where the game clock is exactly at. If it's at 10 seconds or less.
Right. Is that loud?
Jesus Christ.
I think
Keenum for the throw. Oh, he's thrown a good 30 yards. Oh, and it's caught. It's caught, and he's going to run for a touchdown, and the Vikings win the game.
You serious?
I am dead serious.
Right, I bet my phone's going to blow up.
On the last play of the game, the Vikings won the game.
Are you serious?
You just ruined a perfectly good call by me with your shitty audio production.
Is that not just
I am being dead serious.
Because I'm locked in a studio here, I'm sure I can get into the outside world and find out if they won or not.
They mobbed him and just went right down. Like, he threw his helmet off. It was the last play of the game. 0. I don't know what the Saints were thinking. All they had to do was prevent. They were on the Vikings 35-yard line or so. Wow. Keenum threw about a 30-yard throws, basically a Hail Mary attempt for what it's worth. And Diggs, number 14, I think that's Stephon Diggs. I could be wrong, but he could also be Common. I don't know. Caught the ball. And, the defender decided to go for no, he actually completely missed him. He tried to hip check him. Yes, that is right, listeners. The New Orleans Saints defensive back or defensive defenseman tried to do a hockey play and hip check.
Really?
The Vikings player completely missed him, obviously, and the Vikings won.
Well, there you go. Wow. Congratulations to the Minnesota Vikings for moving on to the Philadelphia to play the Eagles, I guess. And that's what's happening. There you go. See, it would be cool if the Vikings made the Super Bowl because they'd be playing in their home stadium.
That's what everyone's kind of wanting. It's kind of like beating the system or hacking the system to see Minnesota actually play at home in the Super Bowl.
But it would probably be against the Patriots, and it would kind of be a really bad thing if the Vikings did make the Super Bowl and played the Patriots and got beat by 40 points. You know what I mean?
I don't listen. I mean, considering today's outcome, that's not. They got very lucky. I don't care how. I don't know what the Saints were thinking on this last play, but for all intent and purposes, to use that phrase correctly, the Saints should have won this game. It was just a silly. I don't know. It was just a poor defensive choice at the end. Yeah, Diggs scored it. Unbelievable. What a weird way to end the game. The Vikings were on like their own 40-yard line.
That's amazing. I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. I watched the game up until the last freaking play, and that was the last play.
Kieran spends one night in jail, and it's like, I don't have TV anymore. I don't go anywhere. I sit inside. Society means nothing to me.
I'm wearing my fedora.
Yeah, really. You're like
I'm like a
pseudo-Cuban.
I need a cigar or something.
I did like what you did before the show. Like that's old Kieran with the fedora, but if you puts it back a little bit, he looks like a 25-year-old hipster. It's amazing how quickly his age changes just by the angle of his hat.
I don't care. Here's the old grumpy man, get off of my lawn, or I'm a detective, right. Or like I'm trying to get a scoop on the murder mystery that happened.
For the Weekly Gazette.
Yeah.
Extra.
So you say you entered the property around what time?
And then there's the young Kieran, just by a little angle of the cap.
Sure, I can't see it, Rock, but
yeah, there it is. There it is.
This is me walking around Williamsburg looking for a dick to suck.
I swear to God, you put up a beaten up acoustic guitar on you, you're it. You're like 25 years old.
Yeah, I'm in the Lower East Side of Manhattan playing fucking coffee shops. I'm a fucking poor man's John Mayer right now. Elvis Costello
thinking about The Fault in Our Stars or some shit like that.
Your body is a wonderland.
Wow, what a difference. A little, just an angle. Just the angle of a hat can do for somebody.
Yeah. You know, it's like I'm like the lead singer to REM. AIDS. Look like I have AIDS wearing a hat. Wear a fedora this way with the top on the brim on the top of your head. You look punchable. Punchable, not so punchable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like you belong on a third stage of some shitty festival.
Yeah, like I'm going to like a fucking Coachella.
Where the headliner is like Erykah Badu or something. That's great. That's amazing. It's actually kind of like a weird optical illusion. I know only people who can see this. Well, I guess a lot of people now just watching the YouTube thing. But yeah, Kieran keeps it straight. He's, the old private dick. And then if he tilts it back just a little bit, he literally looks, I don't know, in my opinion, he looks a good 10, 15 years younger just by the angle of the hat.
The angle of the hat.
That's
the magic of a fedora.
Gosh. I like it.
You can go from straight to gay just by the angle of the hat. Here, look, see? Fucking detective on top of the head, sucking cock in the Hamptons. Like, wearing my board shorts and showing off my old abs. That I don't have anymore, by the way.
Where'd they go?
Straight dad bod right now, and I'm not even a dad.
What do you mean? I thought you were like all about the gym. I thought you were a gym rat.
I go to the gym, but I'm like, I'm not fucking working out the core anymore.
Isn't it boring to work the core?
It's really just boring. I don't need it. It's too much upkeep.
It really is.
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, 718-690-9290 to call into the radio program. A lot to do on today's radio program.
Hey, right off the top, happy birthday to Cool Teacher, and also she is done with her chemo, so very happy for her. and wanted to give her a shout out because clearly the chemo didn't fix her brain and stop listening to this piece of shit of a show. Clearly, she's still listening to us.
Yeah, that chemo really made her a fan of our show.
Really?
Something in that chemo. I want to thank the peoples of chemo.
New advertisers of the program. Chemotherapy.
Pool Teacher's a longtime listener of our show and been around forever. And she had a battle with cancer, and today's her last day of chemo. She kicked the fucking ever-living shit. She curb stomped fucking cancer. She's like, put your mouth, cancer, on the goddamn curb. And she curb stomped that motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, she beat cancer, which is great. Everybody.
Hey!
Yeah. I think I'm going to change my headphones because this is just not working out for me.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds terrible. I can't hear anything.
It's amazing what headphones can do to production.
Yeah. This week is it's an odd show because I spent my oh wait, I got a caller.
Oh, here we go. Nice.
Cool teacher.
Oh.
Cool teacher on the air. Welcome. Congratulations for beating cancer.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah. You kicked the ever-living shit out of cancer.
Well, I'm still trying, but definitely come a long way.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like crap, but that's because I just had treatment yesterday on my birthday. But I'll be feeling better in a couple of days.
So what did the doc tell you? He's like, hey, it's the last day of chemo. You're never gonna get chemo anymore. I don't know how's it work?
Well, I knew going in that I had 12 sessions, and I was actually supposed to be done last week, but I went in one time and I couldn't get treatment because my counts were too low. So I had to start giving myself a shot every week to boost my immune system. And then after that, we didn't have a problem. So I'm done with chemo. I still have another treatment that I have to do once every 3 weeks till October, but at least the chemo is done. So
what's the
I
other?
will slowly start getting back to myself.
Cancer's a motherfucker. What's the other treatment you have to get?
The other treatment is for a protein that grows in my body that can, it's called being HER2 positive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something about the protein in my body that could bring the cancer back. So I have to have treatment for that, but that's no big deal.
Is that the kind of protein you're looking for? No, not the kind of protein you're talking about.
I was looking for it. I couldn't find it.
It's like a protein transplant. Because I would be giving it to you instead of transplanting it to another.
See, at first, in all fairness, Kieran, I didn't think you were gonna go that way first. I thought you were gonna at least go the muscle milk route. Be like, what? You can't just go to 7-Eleven and get some muscle milk?
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah. To make these big appointments, why don't you just go get a muscle milk?
I wish it was that easy.
Well, I'm glad you. Yeah, cancer's weird, man. It's like chemo fucking literally like makes you a shell of a person, and then they have to do other treatments to like replenish your body. I guess. Huh? That's crazy.
Chemo's no joke. Like this whole process has just been insane. At my last appointment, it was so funny because I'd never had really a problem except for that one time that I couldn't get treatment. On Saturday, I need to get a regular blood test done before I can get treatment so they can make sure that my levels are fine. And they couldn't get blood out of me on Saturday.
What do you mean? Why?
It was the weirdest thing. Because it's very hard to get blood from me from like my veins because my veins are very small. I have a port put in. So I have a port in my chest. That's how they access, that's how I can get like, I got the chemo and I'm getting my other treatment so they don't have to bruise me and, stick me everywhere. So I usually, go ahead, Karen.
Sorry.
I knew as soon as it was leaving my mouth.
That in itself right there. You just give material all over the place.
shaking with the inner dick jokes.
No, Kieran doesn't like anything better than a good inner dick. Sorry, cool teacher. He's just like leaving these things there. I got to take care of him. I'm sorry.
I do all these like weird, crazy things to stimulate the blood in my body.
Right.
I don't know what happened before. It was very strange.
Oh my gosh! Wow. So they couldn't get. That's a crazy moment. It's like they're just.
They couldn't me take a blood test.
Yeah.
And I normally sometimes like to get started early. I'll have them. Here we go. I had them prick my finger.
You set them up, I knock them down.
The second part too. I just heard it myself. They pricked my finger 3 times and still could not get.
That's
twice.
crazy.
They got nothing, and then the third time was just a little bit, not even enough to be tested.
Wow. And have you been home this entire time, or like what's been your lifestyle? How has it changed?
My lifestyle majorly. I haven't been to work.
Wow.
I haven't been to work since September.
Wow.
I mean, that's got to be partially a big part of the drain. Is this like you're out of like your normal lifestyle?
Sit down and stuff, but this definitely has made me slow down because I haven't had a choice.
Yeah.
And on top of everything, because I have the best luck in the world, I went to do something in my basement the other day and I fell.
Oh shit!
It turns out that I fractured my elbow.
Oh my god!
Ugh.
And possibly fractured my wrist. So, yeah, it. So now that my other treatment's coming up that I can actually drive myself to, because chemo you have to have somebody drive you because you get very tired.
Right.
But I can't even drive myself now because
that's terrible.
I have a fractured elbow.
Man, that's terrible. And was it probably? I mean, would it have happened under any circumstances, or are you more fragile because of all the current chemo?
That's my husband, yes, because he says I'm a klutz.
Oh, okay.
So, but I am, well, you know what though? I am tired. I'm definitely not myself, but to be honest, I wouldn't have gone to my basement. My basement steps aren't exactly the safest, but I wouldn't have gone down there if I didn't think I could.
Sure.
I know that I'm tired and it takes a long time for me to get up and down, like even a short flight of stairs, but I was feeling fine.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 1 minute I was up and the next I was down. And actually I hadn't driven in like months. And that was the first time that I drove. I drove myself to like a walk-in.
Imagine.
Luckily, because I drive with my right hand.
Okay.
So I drove, and it was right before Christmas.
I'd imagine the chemotherapy kills the sex drive, huh?
You know what?
Nope.
Not, yes and no, but like, my husband's been picking up so much of the slack around the house. I mean, really too much to begin with, but he's been doing everything and working and stuff. I've actually been kind of in the mood, and he's the one that's kind of like he's the one that's like super tired.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got chemo.
But then again, it sounds better than actually like I can't even walk up a flight of stairs. Like sex, I can't.
Yeah, right. Of course, right. It's not on your priority list right now. Let's get you back into normal like
but
lifestyle.
You know what? That's what like, and yesterday was my birthday. I'm like, so am I going to get any? It's my birthday. And he's like, really? He's like, like, kind of. Like, with all the shit I've been going through.
Exactly.
Like,
get your mind off of it for like, 3 minutes, whatever.
For longer than we wanted to be there for 3 hours. So between that and going out to eat, we were like, yeah, no,
sure,
not happening.
Right. Well, you sound good. It's you sound upbeat. Even though you say you're tired, you don't. You sound great. So the fact that you already went through your last round, as far as we know, you're beating this thing.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on the up and up. You got the thing kind of buried, and it's fourth quarter, and it's a minute to go, but you're up by 20. You got this cancer beat.
Humor has gotten me through this whole thing, and my family and my friends. I had a bunch of friends come over today to visit, so that was nice. But it's definitely weird. I'm not in my normal work mode, and it's crazy. And I probably am not going back to work till September.
Yeah. So you recover.
Because it's flu season right now, and I'm like a huge target.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Your immune system's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't fight.
So it's hard, but you know, I'm getting through it.
You're a fighter. You're a fighter. And you're doing good. You're doing
Yep,
really, really
you know,
well.
Excited, like
Yeah.
that's huge.
So just you know.
So now I can start getting better and, you know, not having poison pumped in my body.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
just weird how like I had to get chemo even though they took the cancer out. I had, you know, and I wasn't feeling sick at all until I started the chemo. Like of course I wasn't myself after the surgery, and I'm still recovering from my surgery, but I wasn't feeling sick until I started the chemo, which is like I hate that fact. Like if I didn't even go to get checked, I would never even know I was sick.
All right.
You know, so well, I'm glad I can bring the show to a screeching halt.
That's a lot of
goal.
information.
And
Check that off the list for the week. But
no,
I had to call in.
I'm
so
reading.
with a shout out. Thank
No,
you.
of
And
course. And we love it when you call in. You know, of course. You can call in whenever. You know that.
Monday, I was going crazy, Kieran. I was thinking about you the whole time.
Oh, shit.
The
I
jail.
texted, I Facebook Rock, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm really worried about him. Like you were my brother. Like the whole time, I'm like, oh I feel like shit. I'm like, Kieran's in jail. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, what's going on with him? I hope he's okay.
Yeah, no, it was weird. It was fun. I had fun in
That is
jail.
the weirdest
had
thing. I
blast.
can't even imagine what this is. How
Had
this is.
a blast. And I went in at night. So I got a DUI. For folks who don't know, I got a DUI back in May, and I tried to fight it, and it was kind of bullshit. And I'll get into it, and it's just a long, boring fucking. But anyway, I fucking finally gave in to the powers that be, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm guilty because you guys are assholes, and it's hard to fight this. I don't have 15 grand to fight this fucking thing, so fuck it. I'll plead guilty and give me my shit. So one of the stipulations was I had to go to jail for a day. And I finally picked the day. It was January 8th, I think. And I decided to go turn myself in at night after work. And I took the next day off, and I would serve 24 hours. And part of it would be at night because I can sleep. So I wouldn't, exactly be awake.
Right.
So I go in. I'm traveling in on January 8th at like 7 or 6 o'clock. And I'm like, it's funny because I was calling everybody in my car as I'm driving myself to jail. It's not a weirder feeling in the world when you're driving yourself to jail.
It really is.
It's an odd feeling where you're just like, fuck, I'm driving to jail. like I'm driving to go. I'm like, yeah, it's just an odd thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a weird feeling. And I was calling, I spoke to an ex-girlfriend on the way in.
What? Really?
Yeah, I called her up and I was just like, I needed somebody to talk to. It was like, I don't know. I didn't want like a buddy. I didn't want to call a guy like Rock because I didn't want to hear like, oh, you'll be all right, buddy. You'll just, it's 24 hours in and out. I wanted to hear like
a sex talk. You wanted to get a little sex talk in before you went in. Like what else?
I don't know what I wanted to hear, but I wanted to hear like
what?
Like
the sound of a woman's voice.
Yeah, something.
Something.
because I'm going into the fucking clink, and I don't know when I'm gonna see vagina again.
Well,
24 hours later, you will.
I know, really, exactly. It's not like he was serving, 18 to life here.
So I was nervous, driving in there. I've never even stepped in foot in my entire life. I've never visited. I never walked inside. I've never opened the front door to a facility that was deemed a jail.
Sure.
I've never even been anywhere close to anything like that. So I was nervous as fuck.
Sure.
And I pull up to the jail, and it's just like the one I had to go to. It was like fucking Alcatraz. It was just huge, and it had sections where like dudes were doing fucking 4 years. It had sections where there was a person, people doing 24 hours, and there were probably like holes somewhere in the ground where dudes were doing solitary.
Right.
It was just a massive facility, and I didn't know like where to go. And all there was
where do you park?
Right,
like,
right.
Or pass.
Right. I pulled up to the jail, and I did it on the GPS. I was like,
jail.
I couldn't get into the GPS.
Yeah, I was just like,
navigate to jail.
the jail was called the Lower Buckeye Jail. So I just Googled it, and it took me right. Luckily, it took me to the exact place I needed to go, like self-surrender parking.
That's amazing.
It was a thing called surrender parking, and I
AKA the pussy lot.
And I got really excited because when I got into the self-surrendering parking lot, there was like 2 cars there, and I'm like, this is great. There's not many people here.
Sure.
Maybe I'll get my own cell and I'll just be able to just sleep and be fine. and so, you know, there were not many cars there. But what was also weird is that on the giant brick wall on the side of the prison, there's just this massive sign. It just says self-surrendering area. And it's not even lit up. Like I was like, where do I go to self-surrender? Because I didn't want to be late. Like my start time is 7 o'clock, and I want to be in the right spot. But the only thing I could find out to where to go was this big sign on the side of the prison that says self-surrendering area. So I just got out of my car and I was standing underneath this sign going, I hope at 7 o'clock something happens, you know, like a door opens.
Yeah, right, sure.
Fucking, you know, they let me in and I'm on time and I'm not going to get a warrant out for my arrest. And luckily that's what actually happens. They're like at 7 o'clock, this fucking massive door just opens and these cops pop out, or these prison guards pop out, and they're like, come with me. And then they take you in and they make you like fucking stand up against the wall with their hands up, and they search your balls and they finger your asshole.
Nice. So far, this is where the fun part is for Kieran.
I was like, this is the best fucking time I've had in 2 years.
At the date when the chocolate factory opened and trying
That's right.
I'm not gay or anything, but I asked the fucking president.
But a hand's a hand.
I was like, you on Tinder?
You know what you're doing, sir. Wink, wink.
Yeah, right. So I'm in, like, they open up this door and they bring me into this fucking, it's like an indoor parking lot.
Yeah.
Because Arizona's weird. They have a lot of canopies over their parking lots. So, because it's so fucking hot and like we live on the fucking surface of the sun, it's weird. But they bring me in this large ass covered parking lot on the inside of the wall, and I'm the only person self-surrendering, I guess, because I'm the only guy getting frisked. I had to like take off my shoes and empty my pockets of shit and all this stuff, and they were going through it all. For some reason, one of my buddies told me to bring 40 single dollars because he said there might be concessions. I'm like, I think he was just fucking with me. So I had a wad of like. No! I just like, it looked like I was just like a pimp, you know.
So weird, Kieran.
I had that and like my keys, and I don't know, I felt weird, but they didn't say anything about it. But as I was getting frisked and I was staring at the wall, I hear this big ass fucking bus roll up. Right, the sheriff's bus rolls up like literally right next to me, and the security guard goes, "Don't move." And I was like, all right, I ain't fucking moving. I was like, what's going on? And they start unloading like dudes in jumpers, like the orange.
Oh shit!
Shoes,
This is how like Con Air begins.
Like orange is the new black, you know.
Right,
like
right.
It wasn't women. It was actually men and women.
Yeah.
But they started emptying them out.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was like at Yankee Stadium next to the Yankee dugout, and the players start taking the field. Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, there's Aaron Judge. You know what I mean? Like they're the real players.
Right,
These are the real.
Right, yeah. You were starstruck with real prisoners.
Yeah, kind of starstruck over the fucking criminals that I'm like the real criminals.
Yeah, like wow, you guys actually killed people.
Right?
Can I get your autograph?
So they put me in this fucking room. They get all the prisoners in, then they allow me in.
Yeah.
So I'm like on the opposite side of a large room with like 40 people in fucking goddamn red, orange jumpers and shit. Sure. And they're all shackled up and all this stuff. And I'm just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I hope I don't end up in the same area as they do.
Right. All right, sure.
And I was like, there's no way, because they're like real criminals, and this is like fucking.
I'm an amateur criminal. I don't belong with the big leagues.
I'm wearing my street clothes. I'm not fucking doing anything. I'm fucking I'm a good guy. They know this. They know I'm a good guy. I'm only doing 24 hours. It's fine. And
You don't know. Maybe they were starstruck about from you. They're like, "Oh my God, that's the guy from the podcast."
no, they're probably sizing me up.
That's
going,
what
look
it
at this.
was. We could jam his whole body into somebody's ass.
This motherfucker looks sweet.
He's usable material.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking nice. I was actually showered and shaved. My hair was brushed.
Oh my God, Karen, you were just meat.
Yeah, I was.
You were gonna be like a donkey for them, like where they stuff shit up your ass and then you have to like move it to the different parts of the building.
Yeah, I mean, a showered individual to these people is probably like heaven.
You're right, exactly.
Because most of these motherfuckers do not look like they've had a shower in a long time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know when the last time they had a shower was. So anyway, they bring all the inmates in to the holding area, which I later found out was the holding area. And I had to do like a whole bunch of medical crap. They had to go through a history. They asked me if I was suicidal. I was like, maybe. No, I didn't say anything. I was just like, no, I'm not suicidal. I'm a great guy. I have a great life.
I'm a great guy. It says here you do podcasts. Should we review that suicidal thing again?
Yeah, no, I'm just, I don't know. Yeah, they asked me a bunch of weird questions, like if I, have I ever had a head injury, little suicidal shit.
Interesting.
I guess they probably thought like maybe I just fucking wax myself in the middle of my 24-hour stay there.
Right.
So they, I get through all that, and I have to do all this other shit, and they make you feel like scared a little bit,
Sure.
And which I get it. I was just like, you know what? They're gonna make me feel scared, and I get it. They do, and it felt scary, and I was nervous. I didn't want to say anything to anybody. So they bring me in. They do like the last thing. They brought me into the holding area where all these inmates went, and you can see them in the cells through the windows. And I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I hope they don't put me in there,
Right.
And then I see that like this one cell that's open, and I'm like, oh, they're totally gonna put me in there because there's no one in there, and I'm not in an orange jumper. I'm not a real criminal.
Right. I'm innocent.
There's no way they're gonna throw this fucking honey-covered salmon in with all these bears.
Honey-covered salmon? Did you pick that up in jail? What the fuck?
No, that's a Patrice O'Neill.
Okay.
Yeah, but thing. But I was like, yeah, all right. So they're not gonna throw me in with these guys. So they do this like fingerprint shit. They take like pictures of me. I get another mug shot. I'm like, I guess I'm in the system now, which really sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm like, whatever. And I was like, all right, it's like a 20-minute thing. And I'm like, okay, what happens next? And the guy's like, okay, we're gonna take you to your cell where you're just gonna stay. And I'm like, oh great, and I was gonna walk out of whatever room I was in. I was gonna make a right because I knew that's where the empty cell was. And I was just going to go sit in there and be lonely for however long they keep me in there and let me out. And the guy's like, no, you go straight.
Oh.
And opens up this fucking cell, and it's just all orange jumper guys.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we're real criminals. And I walk in, and there's dudes lined up on these benches on either side, and everybody's quiet. No one made a fucking sound.
And you didn't have to change, right? You didn't have to get into a jumper?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't have to get into a jumper or anything. I was in my street clothes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I walked in there, and I saw a seat. I didn't look at anybody, and I just sat down next to this dude in an orange jumper. And I look over, and he's staring at me with his head like all fucking tilted, like really like kind of pissed off, like looking at me, and goes, I'm gonna use his language he goes, nigga, are you a parole officer? Exactly what he said to me. And I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be here. Yeah. He's like, you look exactly like that nigga I saw in the other prison wearing a blue jumper.
Holy shit.
I was like, no, I'm supposed to be here. Yeah, and his name, the guy's name was Omar. And from that point forward, I introduced myself, and from that point forward, for the next 7 hours, I had the best time of my life. Not the best time of my life, but it was it was fun.
In what sense? Like, what did you guys do?
The guy...
He just had sex. He just had man sex.
Yeah, no, just ass, raping. No, this guy, the guy that I sat next to, his name was Omar.
Yeah.
Omar, like Omar from fucking The Wire.
Right.
You know? He's like, Omar's coming. But he was like, he apparently, he's been in and out of prison ever since he was 17. He's a gangbanger.
Okay.
He had a freaking tattoo of an AK-47 on his neck.
Sure.
Like that wrapped all the way around his neck. And he was just he seemed like he was just a funny motherfucker. Like just legitimately funny dude.
Right.
And he just talked for 7 hours.
Wow. Yeah, it's probably like having a normal conversation. He probably like wanted it, enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I was, I was talking to him a little bit, but most of his conversation was with this other guy who was in the other corner, who was an LA gangbanger from Los Angeles. That guy's name was David, and David really wasn't that smart of a guy, but him and Omar were just sitting there talking back and forth about religion and all this other shit, like stories about people they spent time with in jail and this and that. So it was like I was literally sitting there, and these guys are going back and forth, and it was like I was listening to a fucking podcast or a radio show for fucking 7 hours.
Wow.
And what was the greatest part about the whole fucking thing, which I felt was about the conversation, is that most of the racial jokes were directed at me. Like everything was just like, white boy this, I should be hanging out with that guy because he looks like a nice guy, and that would better my life. And I felt that's a nice compliment.
Right. Wow.
It was just great shit.
This sounds so surreal that this happened.
And I was sitting there and I'm laughing, like belly laughs. Like I'm hurting. My cheeks hurt because I'm smiling so much.
Oh my God.
And at one point I myself, because every once in a while, like a guard would walk by the door, like where the windows are, and he would look in, and I'm just like, all right, fuck it, I got to stop like making like laughter. And
right.
smiling.
It's like defeating the purpose.
I don't want them to think, hey, you know what? We'll just leave him in there. He's having a good time.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But Omar, I don't know his last name. I know he's from Arizona, and apparently, he literally just a gangbanger dude. I don't know if they've ever killed anybody or witnessed a murder or anything. I don't even know why they're in jail, but it's just so bizarre how like being put in a spot where you're just locked in a room with somebody, and your past in life are completely different, yet like we all just got along. Like,
right.
I could never hang out with Omar outside of the prison because what he does outside is completely different than what I do, and I'd be uncomfortable, or he would, it's just weird.
Well, although I'm just thinking, like, you just got yourself a get out free card. Like, if for some reason you're in a situation where like thugs come and they want to like take your money, and Omar's there, and you're like, Omar. And he's like, oh shit, guy, this is cute. Yo, he's good. We leave him alone. We'll move on to somebody. Like, you just got to pass, Karen.
That's a white boy right there.
You just got to pass. I can't believe you. Only you. Did you bring up the show at all?
I did not. I didn't want to
ruin the night.
I didn't want to make anything about me. Like, I was just like, you guys, like, I think I'm kind of funny every once in a while in like a conversational humor type way, but I was not on the level of Omar. Omar was like literally like an untrained, just natural fucking ability to do comedy.
Wow.
Like I don't know if it's from his time being in prison or whatever, but he was well spoken yet fucking quick and funny. He told me a story about this dude named this fucking guy he did time with called Light Switch, and they would call him Light Switch because he had narcolepsy.
Oh shit!
And every time, so inevitably you'd have a conversation with Light Switch, and he just passed the fuck out right mid sentence, and he would like literally smack his head on whatever, and he'd wake the back up and go, "Where the fuck was I?" There's just stories like that the whole fucking time.
Wow!
It was just brilliant. Fucking, I guess you had to be there. I'm not a.
It was a you had to be there moment. I was in jail. We were having a blast. You had to be there.
It was great. I was like, this is so bizarre because for 6 months I've been stressing out about going to jail.
Right.
And here I am in jail, and I'm like having a good time. God. It's like I felt weird. Like I was like, I shouldn't be having a good time. Right. This is like the lowest moment of my life.
Right. Exactly. Right.
This is rock bottom for me, and I just
I just realized as my time went on in jail, I was just like, you know what? Jail isn't the worst thing in the world. It really isn't.
You know what? I'm gonna keep doing. I'm just gonna drink while I drive. Who gives a shit?
I'm not gonna go back. I'm never gonna go back.
I know.
But when you build it up in your head that it's like the worst thing in the world, it actually isn't. It really isn't. People go to jail all the time. Like I was in, and as my time went on, people started getting let in, like other 24-hour guys.
Yeah.
And the dude sitting next to me who was from like Scottsdale, like an older guy. He was like 65.
Wow.
You could tell he was wearing his worst clothing.
Yeah.
But you can tell that his worst clothing was expensive shit when he originally bought it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
He had boat shoes on that it looks like the kind of boat shoes that like a guy would buy if he owned a yacht. You know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
Yeah, he was. I was like, that guy, did the same thing I did. He just got busted drinking. He probably had a couple glasses of wine out at the whole fucking club and left in his fucking goddamn, fucking Tesla, and he got pulled over.
Yeah.
This guy's probably a millionaire, but yet he's in there with me, and Omar. Omar's literally you got a bag of fucking shitty food and toilet paper he's rolling around with. He was sleeping on toilet paper, like a roll of toilet paper, a full one.
Yeah, sure.
He was sleeping on the floor with his head on it, telling us stories about his time in fucking prison. I was like, this is the most bizarre thing, but it was fun.
Yeah, it sounds it. I just can't believe only you could find a way to have fun in jail. Anyone, of course, you'd be like, yeah, just chilling, hanging out. So you just basically stayed up all night.
I stayed up all night because I was not going to sleep.
Yeah.
There were dudes in the holding cell. There was like 20 of us in there. Yeah, 17 to 20. There were guys literally sleeping on the floor in front of my feet. Like on the floor, sleep, like bags over their head, just trying. There were like in the cell. There's like there was a toilet, and if you had to take a shit, you're shitting in front of everybody.
Yeah, of course.
You have to take a leak, you're leaking in front of everybody. So yeah, that was the most awkward portion of it. And then at one point there was another dude led into our holding cell who apparently had a colostomy bag.
Oh.
So he spent most of his time by the toilet emptying the motherfucker, and me and this black guy that was sitting next to me, not Omar, was another guy. And we kept on looking at each other going, I think this motherfucker is jerking off in the corner. Like he was about to get tuned up in the corner because everybody thought he was actually masturbating. But what it was the gangbanger from the Los Angeles was like, no, guys, that's a colostomy bag. He's not jerking off. He's just playing. He's trying to hold his bag.
Yeah, wow.
As it fills up with liquid and shit.
I like how like these gangbangers are like voices of reason in the jails. No, guys, let's take it down a notch. Everything's okay.
Oh my God, the shit that David, the gangbanger guy from LA, and the shit that Omar, him and those two were talking about the entire time, like religion and fucking, it was just, you couldn't make the shit up, and it literally was exactly like every type of prison show I've watched on TV. It was a mashup of The Wire, Orange is the New Black, fucking NCIS, the Oz. It was everything that those shows depicted in their series. It was the same fucking thing. It was just like, holy crap, I feel like I'm in an episode of Oz in here. I feel like I'm on The Wire in here. Like Orange is the New Black. It's all the same shit. Yeah. Like it seemed like at one point Omar was so well spoken and so funny. I was thinking, I was like, I wanted to ask him if he was an actor. Like, right.
Right, sure,
like the prison hired you to stay in a cell with the guys that do 24 hours and maybe teach them that fucking jail is not such a good idea and don't ever come back. Like he was that entertaining. Wow. It was weird, but yeah, it was hilarious. It was a really good time. And the best part about it is I only did 7 hours.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Out of my 24 hours, I only did 7.
Why?
I have no idea. And I actually almost didn't want to leave. Because I was having a blast. Oh. I took the next day off. I was getting paid for the next day.
Sure.
I the vacation day, so I was just like, I kind of didn't want to leave, but once they open up that cell door, you're just like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Fuck that, But it was.
So wait, it was like in the middle of the night they let you out? Was that like because if you went in at 7,
Yeah, they let me out at like 2:30.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually, before there's another part to. I mean, there's a ton of shit I could tell you about this fucking time, and I'm trying to call in. By the way, if you want, 718-690-9290. I think Cool Teacher's still on the phone, but
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Oh, you? Why are you just listening in? Oh, jeez.
yeah. But they took me out. I guess when they're gonna release you, they take you out of the cell that you're in, and they put you into another cell that's like a release cell. Like they're gonna eventually release you. I didn't know that. So they took me and this other black guy out that was doing 24, and they put us in a release tank. I guess they call it.
That makes sense.
And him and I were just in there together for a while, and he like kind of figured out. He told me, he's like, I think this is the release tank. I think you and I are getting out. And I was like, oh, that's fucking great. But I was like, it's weird because I've only been here for like 6 hours, or actually it was like 5 hours at the time. And then they like about an hour goes by, and and all these like another group of 16 dudes in jumpers come in, all orange suits, but everybody was like no older than 23 years old.
Right.
Like they're just all young kids, and they threw them all in with us, and that was a fucking mess because it was just like a bunch of kids just trying to act tougher than the other dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they're all young and shit, and everybody sold drugs, and every cell has a camera with an audio fucking feed on it.
Right.
Oh, there's a caller calling in. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you from?
Is this Lunatic Radio?
Yes.
No one ever asked that question.
Did they
just checking. They're just taking a survey.
Oh, you're still there. Go ahead, caller.
Oh, what's up, fuckers? What's up, Kieran?
Hi, how are you? Oh, is this Charity?
Oh, yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went to jail. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't believe how pasty you are for living, in the armpit of fucking hell.
Oh yeah, no, I am. I don't get out in the sun. I don't want to get that skin cancer.
Well, it's sometimes worth it. You might get some pussy.
What?
I know this is Charity. This is Charity. Everybody, I've known her. She was a friend of mine from New York.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I'm like, this is. It's like, what is this conversation? Where are we coming from with this?
Yeah, like, this is not how conversations start with me with complete strangers.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, no. Well, I went to jail. What do you think of that? Have you ever been to jail, Charity?
Not in Arizona. I've been arrested like 4 times there, but they never actually sent me to jail. Thank God, because guess what? I paid for an attorney.
I paid for one.
Oh shit!
Mine sucked. Mine sucked. Well, he was good, but I don't think he could do anything because I admitted on camera that I drank beer and then eventually drove a car. Yeah.
Well, you know what though? I mean, it sounded like you got away pretty easy. Most dudes, like literally, they get jumpsuited and they get sent to, what is that, the fucking tent city or wherever?
Yeah, but actually, most of the guys that I've heard stories from, and even the dudes in jail, they all like either had extreme DUIs, which is like when you're really intoxicated and you drive and you really shouldn't be driving. And
right.
On top of that, they probably told the cop that, hey, I hope you get shot or something. You know what I mean? Or curse somebody out, because that's when they really fuck. If you're not like nice or obedient when you're talking to a cop, you're fucked. And I did everything the cop wanted me to do, other than like admit to like killing somebody. Like I was agreeing with everything.
Did you try a reach around or anything like that? I even shook when the I can't believe you didn't lick your lips and like twiddle a couple of fingers or something. It surprises me.
Even when the cop released me from jail, I shook his hand and I said thank you.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's why they let you out after 7 hours. They realized that you weren't a bad guy. They're just kind of like, he's running through the process. Get him out of here.
I'm never going back to jail. But
Kieran, if they kept you in there any longer, that fucking OG Omar probably would have turned you into like one of his clique freaking like lieutenants or something.
Oh, yeah.
I would.
For homies.
I would have had Omar. And I hope he does. Whenever I would have had Omar doing a podcast, because that motherfucker was hilarious. Like You know how, like, remember, like, Patrice O'Neal was like a raw, funny dude? You know, like,
that's how this dude.
This guy was the same way. He had that same natural ability to just tell a story, and like, he was like a deep thinker. It was weird. It's like a dude. I was like, man, if in a different environment, like coming up in a different environment, growing up in a different environment, Omar's life would have been completely different than it is. I think because maybe he grew up in a and this is a whole different discussion, by the way.
holding that day is public record, so we could totally find fucking Omar. We could totally find Omar from your booking day. I will make a phone call. We're saving Omar.
I want to save Omar.
You know, Charity brings up a good point, though. If you were in there for another hour or so, you might have a nickname by now. They could have came up with like some sort of nickname for you.
Yeah, my name would be P.O. or something.
P.O.
Right?
Because he thought I was a parole officer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It totally is P.O. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's fabulous.
It was certainly an experience. I mean, all the young kids. It was funny when I was in that other tank with all those millennial kids. It's just the difference between those kids who were doing like 10 days or something. Between those kids and like the Omar, who was like 37, and David, who was in his mid-30s, is completely different. Because these kids are like acting the part of an inmate. Like, I'm hard. Like the hood is just holding me down, man. I just got to keep my head buried in my music, in my passions, and I'll never come back to like literally. This is the discussions they were having. And then they were talking about like what's the best drug to sell. Like heroin's really hot right now.
There you go. All right, that's the buzz. That's what's trending on BuzzFeed in the jail.
There was like 6 or 7 kids sitting in a circle talking about all the drugs they sell, and there's like a camera right above them with an audio feed. I'm like, you guys are the most retarded fucking people. You're in jail in an orange jumpsuit talking about selling drugs. Like, you're just it's ridiculous. Like, you guys are just fucking idiots, you know. But
highly educated OGs.
Oh yeah.
Who knew? Who knew?
Apparently, shrooms. That you can't make any money selling shrooms.
Oh, look at that! All right, a little economic knowledge.
You know, people aren't into the psychedelics. They want to be, either high or low. You really got to, or they want to chase. What is it? Chasing the dragon.
Yeah, they want to.
What is meth considered? Is meth no bueno anymore?
No, the meth is like meth is hot, but it's like mostly for the people who can't afford the real good drugs, I guess. You know,
it's played out because of Breaking Bad, so it's like kind of no big deal.
Like I think weed is more expensive than meth actually out there, so if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
I need to see the updated price chart. Could someone email me that?
That's what we really needed, because we really need to make sure that across the nation, it's really just fair where we're at market.
There needs to be an Excel spreadsheet somewhere that we could get kind of a breakdown of all this.
Stock price on drugs, yeah.
I can't believe it. The last thing on my mind that would have happened was for 7 hours you had fun.
I did. I had a great time. You know what? Actually, those kids were talking about. It was 2:30 in the morning, and they were all getting released.
Hold on, did they talk about Bitcoin? Did they invest any of their black market money in Bitcoin or crypto?
Right.
No, because this is a really hot topic right now, and they seemed like they were highly educated, and they would know like where to put their money, or maybe they could have advised us, because that's where a real drug dealer is putting their money.
There was one kid.
It's true.
There was one like Latino kid who had a whole his entire neck was tattooed all the way up to his chin.
Okay.
But I can't articulate how unscary he was. Like, he's just not scary. He's just very tiny.
Right,
he's clean cut, but he had this neck tattoo, and he was telling everybody in this he had like the conch. From he had the conch. He was ruling. He was the man. He was the alpha male in there.
Sure.
And he told everybody in there.
Passing the torch.
Yeah. He was telling everybody that he did 7 months in solitary confinement in some other prison in Arizona, and I guess that makes him like the badass or something.
Yeah.
And I was looking at
one other prison there that's like solitary.
I don't know. I actually don't know, but I was looking at this.
I hope you don't ever know, Kieran.
I was looking at this kid, and I was like, "There's no fucking way."
Although Kieran's like, "Well, listen, this wasn't bad for 7 hours. I could do solitary. Who cares? Do some crossword puzzles."
There's no way that kid did 7 months. That's what I'm. There's no way, because he would be psychologically just disturbed. Can you imagine? I can't spend a weekend by myself without calling somebody. Can you imagine doing
or at least you porn?
Without calling somebody a little freaking what?
I don't know. I always need attention.
Wait, everyone really does pick on you, Kieran. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like.
Oh, God. Has Gats ever called in or any of those assholes? But oh my God, you wouldn't even freaking.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even be able to walk for a few days.
But I know, Tommy. Rock, I always reference Tommy Gats.
Yeah, of course, Gats, yeah.
Yeah, Rock definitely knows that.
He fucking, no, he doesn't call. But he knows I got a DUI and he knew I was going to jail, I think.
Wow.
Wait a minute. So just to kind of, I'm sorry, I'm still kind of catching up here. So Charity is from Suffolk?
Yeah, Charity's from Suffolk.
Okay.
And
I've never heard. By the way, I've never heard this name before. So just, I have no idea who this person is.
Yeah.
Please, just you can pun all day with my name. So funny thing, Karen, I'm actually marrying a guy who goddamn looks close to Tom when I dated him. It's perfect, but he's way.
Oh well, there you go. Congratulations, Charity.
Yeah.
So wait, what, I don't understand what that means. That means you had a thing for Tommy?
Yeah, she had a thing for Tommy.
So you couldn't get Tommy, so you're gonna go for Plan B. I understand.
No. Oh God, I already been there, did that, had my fun, broke his heart, I believe.
They did. They had a thing.
He married some super spicy Costa Rican girl with a fat ass.
Whoa.
I do not blame him.
All right.
Like really, when I do think about Tommy, I think about her and I think about, wow, if I had a threesome, yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yo, hello.
Hello.
Man.
Hello.
Suffolk County is a special place. It's a special place.
Oh, please. I'm originally from Tucson. That's why I thought.
What is with Arizona and Suffolk County? I don't understand it. Is there just like some sort of weird like teleportation thing that goes on between that area, those two areas? I don't understand it.
The vortex.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know what it makes zero sense to me. After hearing like Leroy's story, I don't get it. What is with that county and the state of Arizona?
Okay, Arizona.
People are fun out there. It's different. It's different. You got to experience it.
Yeah. Karen, thoughts?
Wild.
Thoughts on that, Karen?
This place is it's a fucking, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm not a big fan, but whatever. Yeah. I got a DUI here. I went to jail here, so my outlook of Arizona is kind of fucking skewed a little bit.
Exactly. You've gone down the LIE, without even knowing it.
Driven 60 miles on the LIE and don't even remember anything about it.
Okay, you get pulled over and they're like, all right, too much paperwork. I gotta go home now.
Exactly.
I've actually heard that story from cops in New York.
Oh yeah.
About how they're tailing a guy who's clearly drunk, but yet it's coming up to the end of their shift and they're like, fuck this, I'm going home.
You go home.
You know, it's crazy.
Oh
yeah. No.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you, Charity, for calling, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. I was gonna say I gotta get to bed. I gotta do work tomorrow. But you guys are awesome. I'm glad you guys are back up.
Thank you. It was great having you call in, and congratulations on your soon coming wedding.
Your nuptials.
Oh yeah, we're eloping, so we don't have to deal with anybody.
Tommy 2, the sequel.
Tommy 2.
Tommy 2, 2.0.
That's right. It's an upgrade. There you go.
It really is fabulous.
All right, can't hear you.
Anyway, great talking to you guys. You guys take care.
Thanks. You too.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye.
There goes Charity.
How many more people are out there that you know?
I know a lot of folks.
Is this like everyone from high school?
No, I didn't know her in high school.
Oh.
No, she didn't go to high school.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how I met her through Tommy Gats. Good fucking guy. That guy.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a character. My brother.
Wow. So, I just don't have, I was not prepared for you to say it was fun. It was just not what I would have ever expected. I don't think anyone would have. And not that it would have been a life-altering experience or a dangerous experience, but to walk out of there only serving 7 hours and it being, you know, it wasn't bad at all. We had a pretty good time. I would go as far as say it was fun. Is crazy. I just cannot believe that transpired.
Yeah, you know, and it was just, I'm so happy. It's weird. I kind of like, after the fact, hindsight 2020, I'm like, you know what? It was probably deserving of me to have a good time in there because I was so fucking stressed out for 9 months about it. You know what I mean?
And you shouldn't have gone to jail anyways, considering what went down.
And I was on my way in as I was driving. I was talking to my ex-girlfriend, and I was telling her, I was like, "This is it. This is what I need to." Like, I wanted to call her because I wanted to, like, tell somebody that, you know what, this is it. I'm never going lower than going to jail today. From here on, I'm gonna be a doer. I'm not gonna be a procrastinator. And it was like I was trying to like build myself up, my self-esteem up. And then when I get to jail, I'm like, I had a good time. Now I'm like, fuck myself. Fuck myself. Fuck the kid driving in.
And fuck the police. That's what Kieran said.
You know, like I was being so ridiculous driving in, talking about how I got to like change my life around.
Right.
I just made jail out to be, what I'm saying is I made jail out to be way too big of a deal than it actually is. Because it really isn't a big deal.
So you don't have to give the name, but can you, who was the first letter of the girl you spoke to?
S.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah. I had to think for a second. Oh, that's nice. You guys chatted.
I talk to everybody all the time.
Yeah, it's weird. It's fucking weird.
Well,
I'm glad you guys are chatting. That's nice.
You should see how many people I talk to. It would blow your mind of the fucking people I talk to.
So weird.
I have weird relationships with everybody.
So weird. Makes no sense. Well, I'm glad to hear you spoke to her because I wasn't, it didn't, I don't know. I just didn't think you guys would be, chatty again, but I'm glad you guys are. There's no reason that you shouldn't be. I'm glad.
Yeah, no, I talk to everybody. I talk to a lot of people. Yeah,
just don't call me.
No, because I know you won't fucking pick up. That's why I don't call you. Fuck this guy. Forget it. I don't want to talk about you trying to better yourself, Kier. You're 41. Get over it. Not picking up the phone.
Get it? That old bitch.
Yeah. So. Yeah, jail. I'm not saying for people to go to jail and don't do anything bad, but I just lucked out. I had a good time, man. That guy Omar should be released because he's just a good dude.
I think that's the exact phrase. You lucked out because I don't think it would be the same for everybody.
No, because there was the cell next to me was complete mayhem. There was like shit going all over. It was yelling. And I was like, if I was put into that one, my experience would have been totally different. Right. But I just lucked out and I got, and there were actually girls in that holding area too. There was actually a girl wearing black. She was hot too. She's a white girl, wearing black yoga pants in jail.
Wow. With men around?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Well, they don't put you with women, but they don't mix the fucking male.
Okay.
But they put all the women in one cell, but they transferred them to like some other cell, and they walked by our cell, and everybody was up against the fucking, because Omar and fucking David haven't seen pussy in like like a couple of months, so
right.
They were against that window, going, "Holy shit."
I feel like you're gonna get like some sort of note from Omar's lawyer asking you to like, represent him in front of a jury, like he's a good guy to let him off.
Yeah.
Can you speak on behalf of Omar?
And Omar literally said one of his first things out of his mouth was, "I've been gangbanging since I was 17."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh fuck, I'm dead."
Right, sure, yeah, man.
Funny how it completely turned. It's just like, wow, this guy's been gangbanging. Fucking David, the other guy in the corner, who's completely tatted from head to toe, another AK-47 guy on the neck. He'd been gangbanging his entire life in LA. And by the way, David loves Tupac, and I almost interjected that Nas was better.
Oh my god!
And I was just like, I'm not gonna do that.
Not do that.
I'm just gonna let him fucking ride it out.
No, you're in a jail cell. You have zero credibility.
No, David, you're right. Tupac is the best rapper of all time. Go ahead with your bad self.
See, I think that would have been a great transition when he said, he's been gangbanging since he was 17. You'd be like, oh, that's so funny. I've been like podcasting since for a good 16, 17 years.
Yeah, the struggle is real.
I know.
Yeah. Oh man,
unbelievable, man. Gosh, what a wild, I'm just so, I'm so floored that how it went.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad it's over. You
know what he looked like too. Oh. He looked like a young Cuba Gooding Jr. From like what's that movie with Tom Cruise? Show Me the Money.
Oh yeah, Jerry Maguire.
He looked like a young Cuba Gooding Jr. from Jerry Maguire, with like Coolio's haircut.
All right.
The rapper.
Okay,
Coolio.
sure.
Exactly what Omar looked like. Exactly.
By the way, this is a great transition. If anyone wants to like kill 2 hours and truly believe you can never get it back, watch Coolio's hit from 1996, the movie Fat Beach. And yes, that's spelled P-H-A-T. Holy shit. I woke up in the middle of the night the other night. It was at 3 a.m. I was flipping through the channels, and this piece of shit was on of a film. Oh my God, was it terrible. Fat Beach.
Fat Beach, yeah. Rock sent me the trailer of it, and I watched it, and I was just like, "What are you doing, man? What has marriage done to you?"
I was like, someone else ought to experience this.
No, God, it's every cliche, like hood joke was in that movie.
Arguably, after Kieran spoke about jail, arguably going to jail is a better experience than watching this film.
Oh my God, it's not even like. HBO, I just saw it HBO the other day. They picked up. You ever see All Eyes on Me, the latest Tupac fucking?
Oh my God, yeah. I caught some of it. Yeah. Why?
I tell you how bad that fucking movie. Yeah. It's ridiculous how bad it is. But HBO's promoting that they're going to be playing it on HBO. I'm like, why?
I don't know what's going on.
I'm like, it's the new version of Fat Beach. That's what it is. And it's even more hilarious because he dies at the end.
Right.
You want him to die at the end. To be honest with you, that's how bad it is.
Oh my God. Outside of Coolio, it had Tiny Lester, Debo. Everyone knows him as Debo. But otherwise, it just has some ringer like hip hop and R&B acts. Not even like the big acts of the time period. Just acts that kind of look and sound like them, but not really. And they look terrible on camera because clearly they have no professional backbone or talent, I guess. Just a terrible film. So if you want to kill 2 hours, watch Fat Beach.
All right, let's
Kieran and Rock.
Oh, intro.
This show's a mess today. Let's take a break and we'll come back and we'll I don't even know how much time we've done on the show. How long have we been doing the show for?
Too much.
Too long.
Too long.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More lunaticradio.com show right after this.
Kieran and Rock. Lunaticradio.com.
When it comes to abuse, domestic violence, at least half of it is initiated by the woman. She's the one that hits the man first before he goes off and beats the shit out of her.
Well, that's why it's like, here's the thing we must, I was looking at, I was watching Bill Maher, and they was talking about women in burqas over there, wherever the fuck they wear burqas. And the thing is, women in this country, they don't give us enough credit for repressing our madness.
The restraint.
Like for them to be women and talk shit and initiate anything, I have to restrain my madness. If my girl hits me, I can't hit her back. She doesn't understand. Like, she doesn't respect that. Like even female cops. It's like if some little 5'2" Mexican lady cop tells me get against the wall, she's only a cop if I let her be one. Like, she can't arrest me without I decide that she's a cop. Now there's some police out there who can fucking arrest me, whether he's a cop or not. He can make a citizen's arrest. I don't think anybody should be a cop that can't make a citizen's arrest. That can't go, you're under arrest and I can physically stop you and from committing a crime. But when you have to comply, and this is the thing that women just don't fucking respect, is that men have to we have to actually step back and not do no caveman shit. Like, we're repressing everything in us. Even when we're being faithful, we're repressing ourselves. We're repressing our honesty. That's why you got guys out here saying the word inappropriate. Any guy who has that in his repertoire of words should be like ostracized and put out there as a token to say, look, ladies, this is what you made us, a bunch of fucking phonies who would say the word inappropriate. Because women, and I say this on stage, it's like women should think of words like inappropriate. You know why? Because they sit down to pee. Anytime you ever like think you had to take a shit, but you just had to piss, and you're just sitting there with your dick between your legs, peeing, and you're sitting, and you're not shitting, but you're just looking around the ceiling, and you're sitting in this position, and you just go, God, this is inappropriate.
This is wrong.
I feel like a bitch. You know what I mean? And that's the only time a guy should say some shit like that, when he's doing some shit like a bitch. Other than that, it's like, women should just respect the fact that we are letting them. And this is the thing. Like, this is a soundbite, but I can't explain it any different. It's like we're repressing our place so that they can feel this 50-50 equal shit, but that shit don't exist. Women ain't equal. What the fuck you want? And I'm not talking about socially equal. Yeah, everybody, all you have to do is pay women the same money and they're equal. But I'm talking about arm wrestling, nigga. You know what I mean? Opening pickle jars. I'm talking about running. I'm talking about thinking. You know what I'm saying? we outthink them. You know, you ever meet a bitch that can play chess? No. I mean, and it's honest, man. It wears you down because all day long they want this. We should know. I mean, look, man, I'm not saying go out there and tie them up and jump out of bushes and do shit, but I'm saying respect the fact that, look, man, half the bitches I ever go with, I'm smarter than. Even I've gone out with lawyers and doctors and I'm smarter than them because they just girls. They think with their fucking hearts and shit. They're not practical. They dopey. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just respect for what he's doing. And like I told my girl, I'm like, look, I let you have jealousy. Like, when you're jealous, I let you be jealous. I'm not your possession. I can tell you, look, bitch, I'm dating another woman, you like it or leave it. Right. Like, the fact that I'll go, I respect her, and the fact that I'll go, okay, I'll answer the phone when she calls, or the fact that, you know, if she says, well, who was that girl? I go, well, she was this, or I was talking to her about, all of that stuff we do, like, honey, that shit is because we let them have it. Her jealousy is mine. You understand what I'm saying? It's like her competitiveness against others. That's mine. That's something I give her. I don't have to give her jealousy. I give it to her because I desire to give it to her. But other than that, if I don't desire to give her, she have it.
If you are a proud supporter of lunaticradio.com show and you like to see this show flourish, or just Rock and I become alcoholics, you can donate to the lunaticradio.com show by simply going on our website. Rocket, fire away.
Yes, absolutely. Donations. Go to the website, lunaticradio.com, and select from one of the options, even a recurring amount, or simply just give whatever you feel. Anything and everything is appreciated and helps pay for any of the expenses for the show and helps us keep going and, you know, not have to dig out of our pockets. And we appreciate, again, anything you can give.
Right. So give a shit and give us a donation.
Well, give money. Don't give a shit.
Oh, right. I can go on about that one. So log on to the lunaticradio.com website if you would be so kind and give us a donation. It would be great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.
From the lunaticradio.com show.
Now back to Kieran and Rock. They may suck. That is all.
What up? What up, everybody? LR Show. Kieran Rock hanging out with you. Thank God I got my headphones back on.
I couldn't deal with those goddamn earbuds that I had in my ear. Earbuds stink. Headphones rule. Couldn't even hear myself. Goddamn Rock's here, by the way.
Yeah,
hey,
hi.
Rock.
Hi, how's it going?
See, now I feel like I can do the radio show. Like the first hour, I couldn't hear anybody.
Stop making like all of a sudden now.
When Charity called in, she sounded like she was inside my brain. That's how loud she was, and I couldn't turn her down. It was weird. I can't turn anybody down. You know what I'm saying, Rock?
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
By the way, I played a clip from the great Patrice O'Neal, who is a great comedian. Rock and I had the pleasure of having him on way back in 2007, and we just let him we just said, "Hello, Patrice," and he went on for 45 minutes.
Easiest interview ever.
It was literally the easiest interview ever, and I didn't want him to leave because I remember there was like 4 of us in that studio that day. It was our co-host Josh Gogan, who opened for Patrice one time, me, Rock, and this guy named Patrick, who was a booker for the Stand Comedy Club in Manhattan. And it was all 4 of us in there, and we were all just silent.
Yeah.
Pretty much the entire time Patrice was on the phone with us. And I just somehow stumbled upon that clip over the week, and I put a little clip of it on our Instagram there, and I just listened back to it. And I don't know, I just went into this whole I gotta watch everything Patrice did, because I knew of Patrice. We've been in the same area for here and there a few times. Rock and I have seen him perform twice, and I was like, I want to see what else Patrice has done, and I just started watching interviews and stand-up routines that he's done, and I watched other comedians talk. I listened to other comedians talk about him after he passed away, and I just got to thinking. I was like, man, this guy, he literally was what you want in a person in the entertainment business. Yeah. And what I mean by that is a person who is good at being entertaining, like top notch. Like Chris Rock said about Patrice O'Neal that he was as good as the top dogs, meaning like the Eddie Murphys, Dave Chappelle's, Chris Rock's, Kevin Hart's. He was on that level, and he was about to, if he did not suffer a stroke and pass away, overtake everybody, overtake all those guys and be a legend. Yeah. And he was a legend. But what Patrice also was a guy that fucking hated the business. He hated everything about being in entertainment, like having the fucking, as he would say, tap dance for fucking people in order to get like another gig or to be on a Comedy Central special or to get an HBO hour or to be in this movie or to be in that series. He hated doing that, and he would never do it. He would go into these meetings and actually fucking shoot himself in the foot because he would sit there and make fun of executives the entire time. You know what I mean?
No, without a doubt.
And it makes you, I don't know. For some reason, he died 6 years ago, but yet, this week is some reason I was like, God damn, I really miss him after finding out so much about him. And I knew a little bit about him, but not as much as I do know now. And, to me, after going, if you watch everything about him on YouTube or watch him perform, you will actually probably come to the same conclusion that I came to. But he was probably one of the greatest comedians of all time.
Absolutely. Without it. Yeah, man. He was like that elite class of guys, where they could just go anywhere. And he didn't necessarily need to have a, set bit of materials. He just has some general thoughts in his mind and can go on for an hour, man. He was like top tier. He was above people, He was like,
and it was funny what Bill Burr. I heard a clip of Bill Burr talking about him. Now, Bill Burr's a fucking giant comedian, He's a funny guy. Sure. And what he said about Patrice was that Patrice never wrote anything down, ever. Right. He would just get on stage. He would have a premise. Exactly. He would throw it out.
Exactly.
See how the crowd reacted to his premise, and if they laughed at it, or he would thrive on that, and then he would just literally improv off of the crowd's energy that the crowd's giving him. If you want to see an absolute perfect. I don't know. If you want to see Patrice O'Neal at his best, watch his Comedy Central special, Elephant in the Room.
Yes,
that
yes.
is, to be honest with you, that is one of the best 1 hour specials I've ever fucking seen. You know, obviously you got Delirious and Eddie Murphy Raw. You got that. You got everything Chris Rock's done. But to be honest with you, I don't know if they're as entertaining as fucking Patrice because Patrice, when you watch Elephant in the Room, you don't know where he's really going with his shit. He explains relationships and other like cliche type of things like that in a different way, differently than anybody's ever had. You know what I mean? The way he describes the differences between men and women, you always see that. Like you'll see Chris Rock get up on stage and go, black people are like this, and white people are like this, or women are like this, or men are like this. You kind of know where he's going. With Patrice, when he brings up those premises, you don't know where he's going. It always brings up new. It's different. And that's what was so great about him. He's such like he doesn't have the greatest vocabulary in the world, but his intellect was crazy. The way he looked at shit was different than anybody I've ever seen, which makes him great. I don't know.
He was captivating, you know. You kind of just were drawn in by him, by his mannerisms. You know, you're saying, you know, his speech though, even in and of itself, was kind of, and I don't mean in derogatory sense, but it was kind of just like simplified and just kind of to the point in a way, and you just you felt like you were just talking to someone, you know, anywhere. Like it was almost conversational level, and you were just listening to him speak and what he had to say. But his connection to the audience and working off that and feeding off that and knowing the vibe of the room, like you can't teach that. Like parts of that stuff, like with any job, like even the sports world, anything, like, you know, there's like this other level people that just kind of have it. It's just built in. It's just their DNA, whatever. And he was kind of like one of these types, like a George Carlin type, or, you know, even like I'd say like a Sam Kinison type. He was that Richard Pryor, like these type of guys. Man, if only Patrice was around longer, man. I could just imagine, like,
after watching all this stuff on YouTube, I became sad. Like, I know he's been gone for years, and when he passed away, I had some sad feeling. I felt sad because I kind of knew him. I didn't know him, but I've seen him in person a bunch of times, and I knew guys that knew him, and I knew guys that, you know, were kind of like friendly with him and worked on projects with him and stuff. Right. And they would talk about him, so it kind of felt like I knew him a little bit, like behind the scenes, behind, you know, the guy that's on stage. But man, I was just like, I came to appreciate him a lot more, and I wish we had more guys like that. I wish there were more guys like him, you know, that are just amaze you by the different way of thinking that's in his brain. He had such an ability to look at a situation and fucking think about it in a different way or present it in a different way. He's just brilliant. And I don't know. It was just weird. He was like Pryor. He had that ability like Pryor. He had that ability like Sam Kinison does. And yet he wasn't nearly, not even a speck of their fame. Not even a speck of their fame.
Right.
He was like underground comic that was just, everybody knew was great, but he just never wanted, I don't think he ever really wanted to be famous. Kind of like Chappelle is, but, you know, Chappelle can't get around being a fucking, you know, a millionaire and, you know, being Chappelle.
Yeah, his last, I don't know. I just watched the one that just released on Netflix. I don't know. Wasn't that great. The earlier one was better in my opinion. It just, I don't know. The jokes were a little better. I don't know. It just had a little better flow to it.
It was funny in Elephant in the Room, and I rewatched that, and there are parts of Elephant in the Room that he actually, I don't know when he did Elephant in the Room, and I think that was years after he came on our show. Actually, I think it was years, but there were parts in the interview that he did with us that the same premises that are in the interview that he did with us that are in Elephant in the Room in his Comedy Central special. I found like I was just like, what? That's cool. That's fucking cool. He was talking to us about that shit, and then now he's presenting it on stage, and it's one of the greatest fucking hours I've ever seen in my life. You know? I don't know. I just came across that. Sometimes I come across like old shit we did, and because I'm actually trying to learn from the younger self how to do radio again.
Oh.
I'm trying to learn from the younger me on how to do this again.
It's usually the other way. Like you learn more as you get older, but in this sense, it's the younger one needs to teach the older self.
I'm learning from, not only am I learning from the younger me, I'm learning from the younger Rocket. The younger Rocket was fucking funny, and he had like he had his preparedness, and he had his things he did, and I'm just trying to fucking do this show better. I don't know how to do it. It's sometimes I don't know how to do it. It's weird.
I don't know. It doesn't seem any different to me. If
it's just the same old shit.
No, I don't mean it in that sense. I mean it has the same, I don't know, like the same presentation. Like we're just doing the same thing that we've done since the beginning. I don't think it's our process, our preparedness, our intentions have changed. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in just a, it's just, I don't know.
Maybe it's the visual thing that's fucking me up. Because back in the day, there was never like a video presentation we had to get.
I think it's a major part, and it's just the fact that we're not in the same room. It kind of makes it very weird, for a lack of a better word. It's just like we're trying to interact locally when we're not.
We don't get to do those pre-show fucking meetings. You know what I'm saying, Rock?
I like to call it the relaxation hour.
Or like Greg Kinnear in Hogan's Heroes, that movie. Him and Willem Dafoe in that basement, and they're watching porno and go, wow, this is hot. And then they both just start jerking off together.
No, I do not remember that film.
You don't remember that?
No, Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe and Greg Kinnear in like that movie about Hogan's Heroes.
No.
I think it's Hogan's Heroes. Something like that. I might be getting it wrong. There's a weird scene where apparently the guy who played in Hogan's Heroes was like into porn.
Kieran and Rock.
Hold on.
lunaticradio.com.
I know, that's our show.
So wait, what do you think? What do you think about? Well, what's something that stands out from the old shows that like, oh, I wish we would do that.
I don't know. I think the vibe's just different because we're young and we're not beaten down by life like I used to say. I like to say that a lot because it's true. But I think right now, I like the person that I am now more than I like the person that I was. But the person that I was is a lot more fun than the person I am now.
Sure.
But the one that I am now is a lot more wiser.
Well.
And probably can articulate better.
Well.
Slightly.
Got like 3 or 4 more words there.
I added about 3 or 4 more words to my vocabulary.
I just said
I'm up to about 13. Up to about 13. I like to reiterate it, Rock, just in case people can't hear you.
Oh, now there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, on the same room, By the way, 718-690-9290 if you want to ask me about things about jail, or you just want to talk about whatever you want to fucking talk about.
Rachel in the chat room, man, I've been listening a long time. When was Kieran not beaten down by life? Fair question.
There was like a
window about a month somewhere in 2008 where Kieran was just flying with life.
It's because I was, I had
a girlfriend, had a job, his own place.
Walking around naked in my apartment. That was a good fucking couple weeks. Whatever it was. Come home and just like walking around naked. I'm like, what are you doing? Just keep on doing it. Don't stop doing it.
It's funny. Like I listen to old shows. It's funny because I feel like sometimes, they're funny, whatever. But I feel like there was times where I listen back, like, man, there was such opportunities for jokes that we just missed because we were just being stupid. Yeah, like just times to like do our, oh man, that would have been a great time to blah blah blah, whatever. And I don't know.
Yeah, no, I listened to the ones where you and I used to get drunk all the time.
Every
and those shows are filled with missed opportunities for good comedy. The whole show is just
hours of missed comedy.
I'm like, I could have said that. I knew I could have said this right here, and it would have killed. But I was too hammered, or I was trying to open up a beer. It was dumb.
Oh, but we had so much fun. But you know, no one cared. Like everyone enjoyed it.
No, yeah. I mean, fuck. Gee, I mean, the time we had that one, we had a dude in who flew in from France. Remember that guy, the comedian guy?
I mean, we bring this up all the time, like how we were just because we had no idea who he was and how big he was in France, and we were just drinking beers.
He was. The BBC was doing fucking stories about him. like long half-hour stories, like exposés about his career and his life and how famous he was. And we had no fucking idea who he was. And we just got drunk with him and on our show.
We didn't have enough room on our tape on our console for beer bottles. We ran out of room. There was just so many empty beer bottles.
I know. I couldn't find the board in front of me. Surrounded by beer. And it was like if I knocked one over, it would be like a domino effect. And the whole fucking everything would be destroyed. You know, it would be like there was so many beers on that table.
God.
And his publicist was sleeping in the corner because she just took a fucking 13-hour flight from France.
Cool Teacher brings up a good point, and I mentioned this before. We should play back old shows and do commentary, kind of like a Mystery Science Theater kind of thing. I would love to do that, just to kind of listen to some old shows and listen to us talk about ourselves, because no one does that. No one would have the balls to do that. Like we would actually do an old show.
We can actually I could totally psychoanalyze if I heard something that I said back in the day, I could probably like jump to it in my brain and go, oh yeah, that was that time. Yeah.
Oh, I do that now when I listen to them because I'm like, I remember like the season, you know, and I could like remember, you know, it's like you can remember like little things and you kind of like almost brought back there. Yeah. I think we should do that one day. I don't know how we would pick the show, and maybe just do like a segment because like we can't do a whole show because back in the day, those shows, it's like they always start high and then they just kind of like go down. So maybe like.
No, absolutely.
Did you guys do yearly recaps? You could use those. Oh yeah, way back when Kieran did best ofs. The best of.
Yeah, but I don't know if my best ofs are like the best. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. I don't. It's just what I thought was funny.
True.
I mean, there are probably other moments that I totally missed because whatever.
Or interviews, you know? just interviews because we had people.
You know? Yeah. Because I would pick like fucking because we had some famous person on, and we should probably promote that because it makes us seem credible or something. Right. I don't know.
No, it makes sense for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we had Adam Carolla on this show one time, and it was the worst interview ever. And the guy was actually kind of boring.
Yeah.
And I'd never want to play it. I never want to hear it. I never want to hear it again.
Who was that guy? It was a really early interview on the show. He was with MTV, but then he went over to the podcasting world. Was it MTV?
I don't know. Are you talking about Jamie Kennedy?
No, before Jamie Kennedy.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like some guy, and and we asked, "Did you ever hear him?" He's like, "Yeah, I heard of you." And we're like, "Yeah, right. We never."
Yeah, of course I've heard. Yeah, like this shit, like the same shit that you hear from people in entertainment. Yeah, man, you're hilarious. I've seen all your stuff. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Oh fuck! What was his name? Now it's gonna bug me. He was
Be honest with you, I think that's why we need to get people on our show now, like famous folks, because they actually told us shit like that, Rocket. I think you and I would actually call them out on it now.
Well, yeah, without a doubt.
We're older and we're worn down by life, and we know that we're never gonna be on fucking we're never gonna be Howard Stern. We know that.
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
Oh, is that true?
But if we, yeah, right.
That dream's over. That dream's officially over.
Yeah, I'm not. If we do become Howard Stern, I'm not living next to you in the Hamptons. Okay.
Aw, that's my dream.
My house is gonna be a little bit more raucous than your house. I don't want to give your wife bad impressions of me. He's 42 years old. Will he stop having fucking parties? Christ, grow up. All right. Rachel. No. By the way, 718-690-9290. The winner of the $451 million Mega Millions jackpot, Rock.
Oh.
Guess how old that motherfucker
was he like in his early 20s?
He was 20 years old. He won $281 million. That's like the cash payout.
That's crazy.
20 years old. He's going to be 21 in May. 21 in May. He won $281 million. So I guess there's a little bit more tax taken out of that or whatever, but the kid's going to have a boatload of money. Like, he could just throw it in a bank and live off the fucking whatever.
That's crazy. Like, that's... Imagine having... I don't even... You don't even need to have that. Like, even if I got, like, a couple million... There's a couple $1 million.
I know somebody... I have a friend of mine who won the Powerball with 22 other people and got $1 million out of it.
Yeah.
And won that when he was 23. And he had a blast.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He barely had $1 million. I don't even think. I think he might have had like maybe $600,000. I think.
Yeah. At
the end of the day. But this kid, can you imagine?
I can't.
Can you imagine 21 and getting handed that kind of money? Can you? This guy's gonna be dead. If he doesn't have a head on his shoulder and a good family, he's dead.
Right.
This
guy here is dead.
He's dead. I would be terrified. I'd be excited as fuck, but I'd be terrified also to win that kind of money. Because
even now, or are you talking about at that age?
I think at that age,
Yeah.
more so at that age, but I think also more so at that age, I wouldn't realize the scariness about winning that kind of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think I would be ignorant to it, and I'd probably end up dead.
Yeah.
But now, if I won that kind of money, I would know. I know exactly what to do with it. Nothing really. I would do nothing with it. I would just stick it in a bank and live off whatever interest comes out of it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And just have money. I wouldn't have money. I wouldn't have a job. I would just live off the money that I won, and wouldn't even take any out of it.
Yeah, sure.
It would just always be there. You know. I think that would be the conservative way to go. You know.
It's like it is scary. I mean, you just thinking like you'd have to get like some sort of like you'd have to have a lawyer. You'd have to have some sort of accountant just to. That's a lot of money.
That's a shit ton of money. That is fucking crazy. That's two chicks at the same time kind of money.
It really is.
Yeah, that's crazy. Any pair of chicks will double up on a dude like you with that kind of money. You know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable.
What would you do with that money, Rock? 281 mil.
Bitcoin, bro. Bitcoin all day, every day. No joke.
Quit podcasting, I hope.
Kieran, I move you back here and build you a guest house so you can set up your little studio there, and I live my life. And then every Sunday I just like come to you and just like could you be stuck in the guest house, and I just come visit you in the guest house.
I'm the fucking pool guy Rock does a podcast with. That's what I'd become. God damn it. Hey, where's Kieran? He's in the pool house.
That's right.
Loser.
All you do is sit there and you wait for Sunday for me to come by. It's all ready,
Right.
Rock. You ready to go? You ready to go?
Ready to fucking do my podcasting. Still there when I'm 65. Still living there. Haven't moved on. Nope. Oh man.
But we'd be near each other again, Kieran. Come on.
Yeah, no, that is one thing I'd like to, before this fucking show ends, I'd like to do the show with you in the same place. Before we finally call it a day. I think that would be like a grand finale. Hey, Rock and I are in the same studio.
We're slowly turning into Kiss, though, with these the show ending and then coming back.
Yeah. I get it. Your reunion shitty show.
We get it.
Fucking
I'd be
Christ.
scared,
By the way,
someone, Marin in the chat room, I'd be scared of people coming after me from all directions. That's true, man. All of a sudden, some like cousin of a cousin of a cousin shows up at your front door, man. That's the other scary part of it.
call in, by the way, 718-690-9290 if you won $281 million.
Yeah.
What would you do? What
would be the first thing you do?
What would the first thing? Oh, well, I get a fucking lawyer.
Right, yeah, the lawyer. After the lawyer and the accountant, let's just say, like.
And I would get a lawyer, so I don't want to go accept the money. I want to get somebody else to represent me to go.
I know. I don't understand these people who publicly show their face and information. Like, do you legally have to do that?
I think you have to at least like allow them to do something. There's something on a lottery ticket that by you purchasing it, legally binds you to allow the lottery to promote that this is the person that won.
Right.
But I don't think you're legally bound to go and go in front of cameras with the winning ticket and go, "Hi,
Yeah, right.
I'm the
right.
guy that won." You know, I think you can send somebody else to represent
I
you.
definitely
But
would not want to do that.
No, I would not want to do it. It's like putting a fucking bullseye on your back.
And he's standing there with that fake big check, like, "Hey, look at me, assholes."
Jesus, I got no fucking money right now, and I still got dudes trying to sell me fucking solar panels on Long Island. People call me from New York. They're like, "Hey, we want to sell you solar panels." I'm like, "How the fuck do you even know? I don't even live there, and I don't have money. I don't even have a house there. I did nothing. Like, why? I always get these random calls. I'm like, can you imagine how many random calls I'd get if I had 281 million? God, that is some fucking tear it up pussy fucking kind of money, though. God, he's fucking man. My type of jeez.
Yeah, you just do some simple investing, and suddenly you just you wouldn't even need to. But the thing is, with $281 million, you don't have to do any crazy investing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even have to go crazy.
You need to stick it in a bank. Get it in the banking system, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do because
that 0.75% will be enough. What are those? I want to kind of see what some of those are. So what are we saying? 281 million. Let's just say,
isn't that like 5 million a year or something like that?
So it's
a couple million.
How many zeros earn a million? Let's see. That's all right. That's 281 million, and let's say it's 0.75%, just your standard savings account, right? So where's the percent sign? Oh, here it is. $2 million, $2.1 million.
$2.1 million.
If you threw it all in the bank, right, and you just put it in your standard savings account, and at 0.75% interest rate, which is very low, you're making 2.1 million every cycle.
Just having it in there, not taking any
just
money
letting
out.
it sit there. 2.1 million.
There you go, idiots. There you go, people.
2.1 million. So you let it sit there so think about this. Just think about this rationally, right? All you got to do is, how is it every month? Yeah, every month, right? 0.75. Yeah, you get the interest every month. So all you have to do is last on whatever money you have in your prior life, if you will, for a month. And after 1 month, you could live an amazing life just on that 1 month of interest, not even having touched any of your actual winnings.
Right. I had this discussion with my brother when I was out in Texas because this over Christmas. He's like, we were talking about it because I went in and I went to the 7-Eleven in Texas because I miss 7-Elevens because they don't really have them out here in Arizona. So they have them in Texas. So I went in one, I got myself a coffee, and I bought a lotto ticket. And I came out and I was like, wow, Kev, the lotto's getting up there. And he's like, that's when he told me about what you should do with the money if you win. He's like, just stick it in the bank because that kind of money is stupid kind of money, and you'd make a couple $1 million a year just on the interest, leaving it in there.
Exactly. So now Marin says something in the bank in the chat room about FDIC and the guarantees only up to like 100,000. Listen, you have an accountant. You're at this level of money. There are banks around the world that will happily, and I mean happily, take that money in like some Swiss account or some shit. And again, I'm lowballing the interest rate. What if even if it goes up to like 0.8% the savings? Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
My God, it's just crazy. Just crazy.
Yeah, that's like Kev was my brother was telling me that's how a lot of people live, like rich people. Yeah. That's why they stay rich. They don't spend their fucking money. No. They live off the interest. They live well, but they're not like fucking out there, on a fucking cigarette boat with like 20 strippers and fucking helicopter parked on the fucking
don't buy a white Bengal tiger. Don't be doing that sort of shit.
Just they're living upper class life. You drive a BMW, you have a fucking 3-bathroom house, you vacation once a year. That's like, what's wrong with that life? There's nothing wrong with that life.
Nothing.
It's fucking great.
And you still don't have to work. Just living your life.
And then when towards the end of your life comes, maybe you have kids and stuff, and now you can pay it forward. You can make their life better. You know, that's the way you do it. You don't just get fucking, you know, 281 million and just start figuring out ways to fucking blow it. You know, that's retarded. And you're gonna end up dead probably because you're gonna, you know, do drugs or end up in a dangerous situation and get shot.
Yeah. Well, although your tax bracket, so your taxes would definitely go up because now you're definitely in a different income tax bracket, so you got to take that in consideration. But again, you know.
But if you have 281, you're gonna be living. If you don't do anything, your lifestyle is gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
You're gonna be happy if you just fucking chill the fuck out.
So are you on the bandwagon that money does bring happiness?
No. Well, yeah, it makes things easier. Makes you worried about less shit if you're fucking doing it the right way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know, because there's people. I was thinking about this recently. It's like, you know, the people who say like, "Oh, I don't need money to be happy," and I'm like, that's not true. You're not. Don't. You know.
Shut up, motherfucker. Yeah.
Or like, you know, those people. You know, I don't know.
Money doesn't buy me happiness.
Yeah. Or like those like really fit, you know, like those fit people on Instagram, like, you know, it doesn't matter what your body looks like. You are who you are, and that's what you should be happy. I'm like, shut up.
Shit.
Shut up.
Shut up. What are you?
And they're on like some beach in like the Caribbean, and they're in like their 2-piece bikini and toned. Stop it.
I hate the people on the internet that try to break the mold with some sort of quote. I fucking hate them. Like, oh, by the way, the kid that won the $451 million, the New York Post did a write-up, and he was one of those guys on the internet that would just post inspirational quotes.
Great.
Like the word "try" is never in my life. I just do, or something, you know? Like, shut up, you fuck. Yeah, I hate people. I hate those motherfuckers. And I follow them just for the fact that I love getting irritated by it.
Those people remind me of those shitty posters you used to see in the 90s of like a ship in like a stormy ocean, and it just says courage. You know, like some stupid shit like that. It's like, shut up. And like, you know, some like uppity shitty boss has it behind them. Hate that.
I take the road less traveled.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Right. You see, like, yeah, right. It's like that poster, and like the road splits, and one way's a city, and the other one's just like barren land, and you see the guy walking in the back. I take the road less. Shut up.
You're not. You're on Twitter posting bullshit. Shut up.
Right.
What are you? Is that the road less traveled? Dick face. Yeah. There's about 3 billion people on that site.
Yeah, exactly. Hashtag who gives a shit.
Yeah. Hashtag, like, you're just sheep if you're doing that. Like, quoting somebody else. Why would you quote somebody else? Like, you didn't think of it. Ugh.
A cool teacher just said, "Try. God doesn't give you what you can't handle. Thanks for cancer. Fuck you." Wow.
If cool teacher starts a quote,
wowie kazowie.
Oh, that's the one I always go back to though, because that was one quote I heard one time, and it stuck with me in my life. God doesn't give you whatever you can't handle. He hasn't given me shit, so I was like, can't handle anything. Can't handle a girlfriend.
Apparently God felt like he needed to go easy on you in jail. He's like, let's give him a good time. This might be a little bit too much for the kid.
Too much for the kid. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Rockin', I don't even know what we did today on the show, but we talked about Patrice O'Neal.
What are you talking about? Are we talking about your jail time?
Yeah.
You know?
Charity.
Yeah, I learned about charity. Someone else I'm curious to see who we meet next week on the show from the old Suffolk County days.
I remember one time I was at a house party with Tommy Gatz and Charity.
Oh no! Did you guys have a 3-way?
No, they were dating. she said to me, like, did you just touch my ass? And I'm like, I don't ever remember touching her ass.
Karen, you did.
Then it was like a thing, and I was like, Tom, I didn't even touch her ass. And he's like, I know you probably didn't. She probably just made it up. Or something. It was some weird thing. It was like, and I was like trying the whole night to prove that I didn't touch her butt. And I think it just made it worse.
Yeah, really. How do you prove that without making it? Yeah, exactly.
I don't ever remember doing it. I don't. And I wasn't even bombed. Well, I don't know.
Retract that last statement.
Yeah, let's take that back.
Well.
Yeah. So there you go. By the way, thank you to all the fans.
Oh,
a few there. But this is cool. Because of the social networking and stuff and whatever. It's a little different than when Rock and I used to do the show.
True.
But if you're listening to the show and maybe you're listening to it live or even on your podcast or whatever, it's cool to see that some of the folks out there are like, you know, when they do those story things on Instagram, it's like the video and then there's something always playing in the background. Well, I've seen a few stories and there's like the show playing in the background. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. And if you know, take pictures of the show, hashtag the show, hashtag LR show, hashtag Lunatic Radio. Use all those hashtags to help grow the show a little bit. And the more like folks we have listening to the program, the more fun we can have. You know, the interaction.
It's so funny because I was just this morning chatting with Rooster, yeah, he says, you know, he'll sometimes just he'll cast it to the TV to watch us. And it's like, man, like that's such a cool aspect that we really didn't have years ago. That people just kind of from their phone, nonetheless, just you know, hit the button and boom, it's on their TV and they could just watch it there, which makes it a lot easier for people, you know, because they don't want to necessarily just look on their phone and you know. So
Charity was just saying that in the chat room feedback. I saw it. It was too long of. She wrote like a paragraph, so I was like, now I can't fucking read that because it'll take 5 minutes. It'll kill the moment. But she said in one of her chat room feedbacks that she like took it from her phone and casted it to her Apple TV.
Yeah, not crazy.
Where
technology. You know, you got the hashtags and you got your
technology's a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, Rachel's saying every time he's not working during the show, we cast it on our TV. So that's nice.
Yeah. See, I gotta figure that out. I don't know if I have one of them good TVs. Yeah, I'd like to cast a little yes porn please up onto my
you want to watch? See, Karen, yeah, you could like just flick it onto your big TV.
Could I do that?
What you got to do is get I think the cheapest way would just be to get like a Google Chromecast. They're like $35.
You know, it's really disturbing every time I get in my fucking car in the morning. When I turn it on and a stereo comes on, it shows me the link of porn I've watched the previous night. Like
what? Why?
The Bluetooth? Bluetooth
because it's a media file.
It's a media file, so it'll show like fucking, you know, www.xxbunker.com/fucking MILF seduction whatever. And I'm like, the first thing that pops up in the morning when I look at my TV or my radio in my car trying to get the fucking local news.
Well, that's where your life's at. You breathalyzer to start the car and checking out what you watched last night. That's where you're at. That's a terrible combination.
I know. And as soon as cars are able to play video, I'm sure they are. I would imagine that porn will just start playing in my car as a kid. Which is illegal, I think.
Cool teacher. Hashtag the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Blow me.
That's really a quote?
That's great. Just shitty quotes. The internet is full of people with shitty. I am sick and tired of them. Oh, I hate them. I hate like all the pretty people that leave these inspirational quotes like they're gonna change me. I hate them because anyone that buys it, they're literally paying for it because all they are is just advertising machines. They're just out to make money. Period. They're just advertising machines out there.
Oh man. Hold on. I know I'm going to somebody's site who does it.
Somebody we know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Does it all the fucking time.
Oh shit. Really? Oh, now I'm excited.
I'm
curious to see this.
Got any good ones?
Who could this be? Somebody we know.
Some folks.
Like you're going on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Let's see. I don't see any good quotes yet. She's just retweeting a lot.
Wait, I think I might know who it is already.
Is
because I feel like you mentioned this in the past.
Yeah. Let's see. We all have a choice on who we decide to become as a result of our experiences in life.
Ugh.
We aren't limited to being simply reactionary. Like, that's not really.
It just sounds. Sounds like words.
She just retweets fucking shit that people say.
People with inspirational quotes.
Shout out to the pain that gave me understanding. Just infuriating shit. Millennials. Assholes. Get over yourselves. God. What was the last
It's not just
thing?
millennials. Anyone trying to make a dime on the internet.
Why would she retweet this? What was the last thing that made you cry? Why would you even retweet that? What is retweetable about that? Somebody explain to me. Explain to me what that fucking is. I don't understand young people. You're getting more and more retarded. I was completely retarded when I was a younger person in my 20s. I can't imagine being even more retarded than I was. But you people are fucking blowing me out of the water. I remember Rock when I'm older than Rocket by fucking how many years? 4, 5, something like that?
Yeah, I think 4 tops.
When I was in my mid-20s, Rocket was like a baby. He was like 17. And he's going, dude, you're retarded. And I'm going, oh, you're right, but I'm still going to be retarded. I'm going to keep on going on this retard thing, journey.
Cool Teacher just keeps on putting shitty inspirational quotes in the chat room. Don't stress. Wait, what's it? Don't call it a dream. Call it a plan.
Can you play? You can't play anything over there, can you?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna get some inspirational music. Inspirational music. This is how we end the show. I'll just read in. Let's see. 6 hours of epic inspirational music. Here we go.
No,
6
can't
hours.
wait.
Here we go. I'm gonna go back to the Twitter. I'm just reading off somebody's Twitter. Instead of complaining about your circumstances, get busy and create some new ones.
Ugh.
A rabbit hole will teach you a few things. Just got to be sure you know how to find your way out when it's time.
Terrible.
Like, are these even...
There's like words strung together.
Everyone else can't be on the same wavelength as you all the time. So that's not how it works. You got to learn to accept that. Like, who doesn't know that?
1 year equals 365 days of opportunities.
Oh, God.
He's a great Cool Teacher. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. Ugh.
Trust the universe so much that you don't give a fuck. What does that mean?
All right, that's not a quote.
Is that just somebody retardedly trying to make a quote? Yeah. We can only begin to clean up our emotional messes when we recognize that what caused them in the first place. Yes, I know.
Right.
Who doesn't know these things? This person sucks. You like the
It's very
Give me one more. Give me one more. I'm trying to find one that will make me just get douche chills, and I'm not seeing it. Oh, by the way, all these quotes all these quotes I'm reading are coming from a guy whose Twitter handle is called Unwasted Mind.
Let me see.
Ugh. Ugh. Let me see if I can find one. All right, here's one that will drive me nuts.
Oh, yeah?
Very short. Time is a state of mind.
Oh, fuck you. mind.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Time is a state.
Time is a state of mind, though. I'm grateful for all the things I might still. Oh wait, I'm grateful for all the things I'm still ungrateful for. Is this them? I just want to shoot myself. Fucking makes me want to just gun to chin, gun to chin. I hope after this person tweets something, time is a state of mind, this sound comes from the fucking bedroom of their.
Oh, that's not nice.
Just. Time is the state of mind. Share. Oh, God.
All right, I had enough.
Yeah, I've had enough too. Oh, thank God. All right, let's play this and go home. I'm already home. Don't look back. You're not going that way. Thank you, GPS. That's coming from Cool Teacher.
It's on fire tonight.
On fire. All right. Thank you, everybody, for checking out lunaticradio.com. Go follow us on Instagram at Lunatic Radio, on Twitter at Lunatic Radio. We don't retweet emotional tweets.
Right.
Or inspirational tweets. Thank you, Rocket.
Oh, thank you, Kieran.
And that's it. We're fucking done. See you later.
Yes.
Got any last?
Yeah, Rocket Radio Hour coming on in 30.
Yeah, no, it's not. He's going to bed.
That's right.
All right. Thank you to everybody listening in the chat room. We see you all there. Thank you to Cool Teacher for beating cancer.
Woo-woo!
Because without you, we'd have no reason to do this show. Because no one cares about it as much as you do. There you go. That's all I got. See you folks later. Bye. See ya. See ya.